Regular meeting number 25 will now come to order. Please stand for the playing of the national anthem. Councilmember Mitch Brown, would you please lead us?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This evening, Council is honored to have, again, Imam Horsed Noah to pray with us, lead us in prayer. Imam, welcome back to Council.
Let's pray. Dear God, unite our hearts and facilitate our mutual affairs. Guide us in the path of peace. Liberate us from darkness by your light. Save us from enormities, whether open or hidden. Bless us in our ears, eyes, hearts, and spouses and children. Turn to us. Truly you are most compassionate, most merciful. Make us grateful for your bounty and full of praise for it, so that we may continue to receive it and complete your blessing upon us. Lord, strengthen our solidarity in times of hardships and calamities. Bless this space and every seat that's filled. We thank you for every mind and heart present and seek your mercy to fulfill our duties. Dear Lord, in times of confusion, bring clarity. In times of conflict, encourage harmony. In times of difficulties, grant us wisdom, perseverance, and resilience. Guide this council in its vision and mission in every task and project it attempts to accomplish. Amen.
Thank you. Clerk, please call the roll.
Brown, Dorans, Favor, Remy, Tyson, President Harden. Any person who takes any actions to obstruct or interfere with the conduct of tonight's meeting may be charged with disturbing a lawful meeting pursuant to Columbus City Code 2317.12. Any person who enters those areas of City Council chambers reserved for city officials or invited guests may be charged with criminal trespass pursuant to Columbus City Code 2311.21.
Can I get a motion to dispense with the reading of the journal? Please call the roll.
Brown, Dorans, Favor, Remy, Tyson, President Harden.
This week's communications received by the City Clerk's office are listed on the agenda and will be published in the City Bulletin. Are there any other communications to be read into the record?
Not this time.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Are there resolutions by members of Council? President Pro Tem.
Thank you, Council President Harden. I have a resolution tonight. I'd like to invite Courtney Keys and Taylor Glynn to the podium as I read it. Resolution 0168X-2019 to recognize and celebrate May 18th, 2019 as Kids to Parks Day. Kids to Parks Day was organized and launched by the National Park Trust in 2011 and is held annually on the third Saturday of May. The celebration is open to all and encourages children and adults to be active and appreciate being outdoors. By encouraging children to participate in more outdoor activities, we promote healthier lifestyles and combat issues such as childhood obesity, diabetes, hypertension, and high cholesterol. On Kids to Parks Day and throughout the year, it is important to encourage children and everyone else to enjoy local parks and other outdoor pursuits. Here in Columbus, we are fortunate to have 13,582 acres of parkland across 380 parks. 220 miles of regional trails, 14 nature preserves, 8 outdoor pools, 6 splash pads and interactive fountains, 6 golf courses, and 5 dog parks for residents to enjoy. Our system is managed by the professionals of Recreation and Parks Department and community partners like Harmony Project, who help with park cleanups, tree plantings, public art installations, and playground builds, amongst other projects. I'm very happy to have Courtney Keys and Taylor Glenn here tonight to talk more about their work, making sure we maintain these great opportunities to get outside, appreciate nature, and have some fun. Thank you for working so hard to keep these opportunities accessible for kids and adults in our city. So before I turn the microphone over to the two of you, I move for adoption.
Second.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, Tyson, President Harden.
Whoever would like to go first.
Thank you, Council President Pro Tem Brown. My name is Taylor Glenn. I'm a park maintenance supervisor for the Columbus Recreation and Parks Department. As many of you know, our department's purpose is to connect the community through the power of nature, wellness, and creativity. Each day, I have the opportunity to manage our over 150 playgrounds. I have one of the coolest jobs in our department because I have the opportunity to fill our department's mission by helping kids and families connect through play. More importantly, I get to work with many of our nearly 12,000 volunteers who support our department's vision. I'm happy to celebrate and recognize National Kids to Parks Day, and thank you for your continued support of our parks and recognition of this important day.
Hello. On behalf of Harmony Project, thank you, Council President Pro Tem Brown, for recognizing National Kids to Parks Day. My name is Courtney Keys, and I'm the Director of Volunteer and Community Engagement. At Harmony Project, our mission is to connect people across social divides through arts, education, and volunteer community service. With a volunteer force of over 1,000 Columbus residents, we aim to not only provide our community with passion for the arts, but a passion for service. Harmony Project has enhanced numerous community centers and parks throughout Columbus. Just this past Saturday, we were at Sullivan Gardens Recreation Center in South Franklinton. We're excited to celebrate this fun experience and day with you and many others. Thank you.
And then I have a quick announcement. Kids to Parks Day is a great opportunity to remind everyone that this Saturday, May 18th, I will be holding community office hours at Innis Park from 1:30 to 3 o'clock in my series, Meet Me at the Playground. You don't have to have a child to come by and chat with me, but if you do and you're constantly trying to find time to parent, work, and advocate for your community all at once, these office hours are our attempt to help you take care of multiple responsibilities at once. Thank you to everyone who has participated so far. We've really had a lot of fun. And since this Saturday also happens to be Kids to Parks Day, my office hours this month will be an officially registered Kids to Parks Day event. So I hope to see you Saturday at Innis Park to celebrate and to chat. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. I hear the weather's going to be like 81 degrees, too, so there you go. Councilmember Brown.
Thank you, Council President. I have two resolutions this evening. I would like to ask Lieutenant Steve Smith of the Columbus Fire Division and Fire Chief Kevin O'Connor to please approach the podium. Resolution 0160X2019 to recognize Lieutenant Stephen L. Smith in honor of his 39 years of service of distinguished service with the Columbus Division of Fire. Whereas Lieutenant Stephen L. Smith has been proudly serving the city of Columbus as an esteemed member of the Columbus Division of Fire since March 16, 1981, and was promoted to fire lieutenant on August 18, 2002. And whereas since 2010, Lieutenant Smith has overseen the Division's Special Events Unit, where he is responsible for coordinating fire and EMS service for high-profile events such as Red, White, and Boom, Ohio State football games, the Arnold Classic, the African American Male Wellness Walk, Heritage Festival, and the wonderful Mirror Lake Jump. And whereas Lieutenant Smith has had a diverse career with the Columbus Division of Fire, which includes working at Fire Alarm Office, many years at Station 1 and Station 5, and serving as the Fire Lieutenant on Unit 1 at Station 21 from 2002 to 2006, And whereas Lieutenant Smith has received the respect and recognition of not only the residents of Columbus, but his colleagues, having received the Fire Chiefs Award in 2011 for his contributions to the Special Events Unit. And whereas in 2017, Lieutenant Smith was assigned to the division's recruiting unit to help the Division of Fire recruit firefighter cadets more reflective of the diversity in the city of Columbus. Whereas Lieutenant Smith has acted as an ambassador for the Columbus community, ensuring that every visitor and resident is safe and welcome when they attend events in the city of Columbus, now therefore be it resolved by the Council of the City of Columbus that this council does hereby express its appreciation for the outstanding contributions that have been made by Lieutenant L. Smith during his 39 years of public service to the City of Columbus, and this council congratulates him on his retirement. I move for adoption.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, Tyson, President Harden.
Do any of my colleagues have any comments at this time? If not, before I ask the Lieutenant, oh, I'm sorry, Council President, certainly.
Thank you, Council Member. I just want to say thank you to Lieutenant on behalf of the residents of the City of Columbus, on behalf of this council and Councilmember Brown, but also on behalf of the countless African-American firefighters that came after you. You have served this community well. You have made a lot of folks very, very proud, and we are so grateful. And this is a well-deserved next step, but I wouldn't want to let this moment go by without acknowledging the significance of your service to this community. Thank you, Lieutenant.
Thank you, President Harden.
Councilman Tyson.
Thank you, Chair Brown. Lieutenant Smith, I just want to say thank you to you again, and to thank you to your family for allowing you this opportunity to serve our wonderful city and our residents. And so I certainly echo the comments from President Harden, and thank you for being just a role model for our firefighters, and thank you for rushing into danger where that is not something that most people do. That's something people try to move away from danger, and you ran to danger. And so I thank you for your career as a firefighter in this community, and hopefully other individuals will just see your exemplary career and want to follow behind you. Thank you so very much.
Thank you, Councilman.
Councilman Remy.
I echo my colleagues' sentiments, and certainly going to miss your disposition and attitude on the force or in the department. I think it was always great to see your smile and to your optimism after so many years is really remarkable. So, thank you for everything that you've done for this city, and look forward to hearing more about retirement here in the future. So, best wishes.
Thank you, Councilman.
Chief O'Connor.
Thank you, President Harden, Chairman Brown, President Pro Tem. One of the things that you have to remember about Lieutenant Smith is Lieutenant Smith has had a 39-year career, and he has made every one of us safer on some of the biggest events that in the history of the city of Columbus, and he did it in the background. He did it by the preparation and made everyone safe. He had the plans in place, and he set an example for everybody. In our value statement, there are 3 key criteria, and one of them is professionalism, integrity, and respect for others. And I tell you what, there's nobody who better exemplifies that in the Columbus Division of Fire than Lieutenant Steve Smith. 1,570 members we're very proud of, but we are especially proud of Lieutenant Steve Smith, who every day has looked at how he can make it better. And he's done some things here at the end of his career that he did because he wanted to leave a legacy to make this organization better. And those are the things that can't really be rewarded, but they can be recognized. And at this time, Lieutenant Smith, I can't thank you enough. As a personal friend, as a professional, I can't thank you enough, and I wish you all the best. Thank you, sir.
Director Pettis.
Thank President Harden, Chairman Brown, members of council. Thank you for the opportunity to say a few words on behalf of my colleague and friend, Lieutenant Smith, on behalf of his 39-plus years. I started in the fire department over 42 years ago. Of course, I was only 5 years old at the time. So Lieutenant Smith and I became, in addition to colleagues, we became friends. And when I administer the oath of office in both police and fire to those who are promoted, I'll often say a few personal words to them. I borrow a quote from University of Southern California professor Warren G. Bennis, and I add my own twist to it. He said, managers do things right, leaders do the right thing. And I tell those being promoted in police and fire, first responders do both. Lieutenant Steve Smith epitomizes those qualities, whether it was his leadership in the Background Investigations Unit, working with youth in the Firefighters Against Drugs program, volunteering efforts and resources for the Firefighters for Kids Toys program, or in his own initiative of purchasing and assembling bicycles for children at Christmas time, or in the marvelous leadership he displayed in assisting with recruitment as well as his management of the Division of Fire's special events operations, where he reported directly to me. Lieutenant Smith did always strive to do things right and to always do the right thing. He leaves the Division of Fire after an exemplary 39 years of service, and we are truly grateful for all he has done for the division and for our community. Thank you, Lieutenant.
Before I actually turn it over to Lieutenant Smith, he knows I could not let him go without some personal commentary. Please come to the microphone, sir. I've known the lieutenant for
Be
over...
nice, sir.
I'll be very nice. We developed a special relationship on a lot of different occasions, working different events at 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning, he and I together. And we did the African American Wellness Walk. I have to tell everyone, when I was diagnosed with cancer and after I came back, Lieutenant Smith never let me walk alone. He always was with me. No matter where I was on the walk, I always knew that he was there in case I had a problem. I don't think he knew I knew he was doing that, but I did, and I certainly appreciate it. But that's to give you some idea about the character of the person. He never said anything. He made sure there was a unit that followed us everywhere we went, just to make sure that things, if I had a problem, that there was somebody to be there with me. And I did not forget that, Smitty. So thank you very, very much. And now the floor is yours.
Thank you, sir. President Hardin, Pro Temp, Councilwoman Brown, Councilwomen Favor and Tyson, Councilmen Durans, Remy, and of course, Mitchell Brown. Council members, thank you. I thank you for giving a kid from the south end of Columbus, a proud graduate of the Columbus Public School System, the ability to follow his passion to protect and serve as a professional firefighter. You see, ladies and gentlemen, I never worked a day of my life because, quite honestly, if you have a passion for what you do, it's not a job, it is a career. To be a public servant with fellow passionate professionals, you never look at a career as a job. My first year on the division, I made a whopping $9,000. I thought that was all the money in the world. I had 2 days off and I only had to work 1. Wow. My first assignment after completing drill school was Fire Station number 1, which is now the Central Ohio Fire Museum. You've been on a while when it's now a museum. You soon learn in this career that people that you don't even know entrust their life and the lives of their loved ones in your hands to provide help at what most people would say is the most vulnerable time in their life is truly an important and honorable position. My fire and EMS career has taken me from emergency services to administrative duties and back, working with the finest trained men and women on the division. I've also had the ability and pleasure of working with fellow city employees and the public at large, all while proudly wearing the uniform of the Columbus Division of Fire. I have to admit, none of my career could have been obtained without mentors. You see, I did not get here by myself. Let me repeat that one more time. I didn't get here by myself. I stand on the shoulders of men and women who came before me. You see, mentors make a difference, especially if you're willing to listen. My mentors, some of them are assembled here today, are and remain the beacon of my career. My last 2 assignments on the division were special events and recruitment. Both assignments allowed me the opportunity to pay forward. One of the most important lessons that my mentors relayed to me is that you must pay forward. I've had the privilege to serve and work directly for the office of the fire chief these last 9 years. First, Fire Chief Dr. Ned Pettis, Jr., the only man I ever called boss. Then my classmate, Fire Chief Gregory Paxton, and now my last Fire Chief Kevin O'Connor. All of these gentlemen gave me the opportunity to represent the office of the Fire Chief, and I thank them for that opportunity. Thank you. In closing, I need to say thank you and acknowledge my loved ones. Many are in the audience today. First, my wonderful wife of 34 years, Teresa, who gave me the support and love to follow my passion. Teresa is still supporting our dream by agreeing to work 2 years past my retirement. Pray for us. Our sons, Christopher and Andrew, along with their spouses, Erica and Nathan, and our wonderful grandchildren, Christian, Layla, and yes, baby Harper. I must mention my prayerful parents, James and Iris Smith. I hope and trust they are proud. Tomorrow, I don the Columbus Division of Fire uniform for the last time. I hope and trust it can be said that I gave more than I took, and I pledge to continue to pay forward. Again, thank you, council members, for this recognition. Thank you.
For my second resolution for this evening, I would like to invite Columbus Division of Police Sergeant Charles Cartwright, Deputy Chief Kenneth Keebler, and Commander Robert Strasbaugh to the podium. Resolution 0167-2019 to recognize Sergeant Charles M. Cartwright in honor of his 40 years of distinguished service with the Columbus Division of Police. Whereas Sergeant Charles M. Cartwright has been proudly serving the City of Columbus as an esteemed member of the Columbus Division of Police for nearly 40 years, whereas during his distinguished career with the Columbus Division of Police, Sergeant Cartwright has served in the Patrol Division, the SCAT team, the Internal Affairs Bureau, the Honor Guard, Dive Team, Hostage Negotiation Team, and finally with the K-9 Unit. And whereas Sergeant Cartwright is the recipient of numerous awards during his tenure with the Division of Police, including 3 Blue Stars, 2 Special Commendations, 10 Physical Fitness Awards, Safe Driving Awards annually from 2010 to 2017, the Field Training Officer Award, 2-time Police Officer of the Month, and Crime Stoppers Officer of the Month in June 2011. And whereas during his time with the K-9 Unit, Sergeant Cartwright has handled 3 separate K-9s. He has enjoyed building relationships with community members and his fellow officers during his engagement at public demonstrations. And whereas Sergeant Cartwright is a 20-year member of the Columbus Division of Police Honor Guard and has conducted himself both on and off duty with professionalism and compassion. He has been praised by his supervisor as a model for all sworn division personnel to emulate. And whereas when not acting as a Columbus police officer, Sergeant Cartwright volunteers with Boy Scouts of America, guiding both of his sons to the highest distinction of Eagle Scout. Now, therefore, be resolved by the Council of the City of Columbus that this council does hereby express its appreciation for the outstanding contributions that have been made by Sergeant Charles M. Cartwright during his 40 years of public service to the City of Columbus, and this council congratulates him on his retirement. I move for adoption.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, Tyson, President Harden.
Deputy Chief, the floor is yours for the moment, sir.
Sir, just real quickly, Chief O'Connor mentioned about Lieutenant Smith that he left the Division of Fire better and the City of Columbus better for being here. And there's no better measure of a person's career than that. And that is absolutely true of Sergeant Cartwright as well. A K-9 unit, if used properly, could be a great advantage to a city, help me apprehend criminals, find lost children, collect evidence, and do building searches and protect officers. If used incorrectly, it can damage community trust, community relations. It requires a strong leader who will help to raise those good things and protect against the bad. Sergeant Cartwright is fair, firm, passionate, and compassionate. And we have been better because of him. The city has been better because of his leadership, and we're very grateful. So, Mark, thank you. Thank you for your time.
In fact, we have all the members of the K-9 unit here, are they not? Gentlemen? Or are they still out in the hallway? Are they back there? Okay. Do they have the K-9s with them?
They don't.
Oh, okay. Commander Strasbaugh?
Thank you, President Harden. Many of you guys I know. I started my career 26 and a half years ago, and Sergeant Cartwright was actually one of the leaders that instilled in me solid, sound leadership skills. He's very direct. You make a mistake, he doesn't hold it against you. He educates you, disciplines you if necessary, and moves on. Even after I got promoted to lieutenant and as a commander, I still sought out his advice, and I will continue to do so. He's a great man, he's a great leader, and he's very much proud of the City of Columbus and his service to the Division of Police.
Are there any comments from my colleagues before I turn it over to Sergeant Cartwright? And also his companion, Lilo, which, by the way, see, he knows. Sarge, the podium is yours, sir.
Okay. Well, President Harden, members of council, unlike Lieutenant Smith, I did not prepare a speech. Didn't know I needed to, but I just wanted to say my heartfelt thanks for the City of Columbus and the Division of Police who've made me a long and happy career. I've enjoyed every minute of it, and I'd do it all over again, without question. And I'd like to thank my wife, Karen, who for a number of years has put up with my companion dogs that we've had in the house. We've destroyed a number of things in the house. That's part of being a dog handler, I guess. And I want to thank all the officers that have worked with me over the years who really are the ones that made me look good all these years. They're a very, very professional group of men and women. So thank you very much. Thank you.
Councilmember Tyson?
I'm sorry I didn't say something earlier, but I just want to thank you. Anyone that gives 40 years of their lives to just anything is pretty remarkable. And so I just want to again thank you, thank your wife, thank your family for again allowing you to serve in our community. And for a person to give 40 years of their lives to this community, it is something that you obviously care deeply about. And I'm hopeful that people who are watching and listening to this hearing this evening will certainly think about a career within the Division of Police as well as the Division of Fire, because it certainly is a great career. And hopefully they will be able to look at you as a role model and think that I can do that also. So again, congratulations to giving us 40 years of your life. We honor you and we appreciate you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Director Pettis?
Council President Harden, Chairman Brown, members of council, and Lilo. Thank you for the opportunity to have some comments. For the nearly 3 years that I've been the safety director, I have learned a few things about Sergeant Cartwright. Sergeant Mark Cartwright leaves behind a better unit as a result of his effective leadership abilities. Sergeant Cartwright was an upfront leader with his crew and with the citizens. That leadership was shown to his family, and he guided his sons to become Eagle Scouts. But at work, whether unknowingly or not, he was mentoring young police officers and sergeants with his leadership style. Both his commander and lieutenant worked around him as officers on third shift when Sergeant Cartwright was promoted to sergeant. Both will tell you that they each learned something of value about leadership working around him and how he interacted with people. He embodied leadership and bearing when dealing with the public and his officers. Both will tell you that they valued his leadership so much that they continued to seek advice from him about policing issues and problems even after being promoted to a rank above him. These are just two examples of those who have grown in the Division of Police because of Sergeant Cartwright. Sergeant Cartwright came here to have a good job with the ability to raise a family. He leaves here after 39 years and 7 months, having accomplished that and so much more. He leaves here after developing young officers into sergeants, lieutenants, and commanders. He leaves here dedicated to canine operations and policing, having the Columbus Division of Police become a nationwide leader to model a program after. He leaves here knowing that he has the respect of many subordinates, peers, and executive leaders. He leaves here a legacy that will continue for many years because he has instilled his leadership skills in those staying behind to carry the law enforcement torch. Now he can devote his time to family, friends, and hobbies, knowing that he left a footprint on an honorable profession and those he leaves behind. Congratulations, Sergeant.
Thank you, Director. Charles, before you actually go, you see the applause.
You also work for the city, right? You work for the auditor.
Council President, that's all I have this evening, sir.
Thank you, Councilmember Brown. Councilmember Dorans.
Thank you, Council President. No resolutions this evening. I just wanted to make a quick announcement. My second community hours is happening this Wednesday, May 15th from 5 to 6:30 at the Franklinton Library. This will be our pizza event this month, so we'll be featuring pizza from Josie's Pizzeria from Franklinton, which was established in 1959. So please get there early if you're planning on having a slice of pizza with us, and look forward to having folks come out on Wednesday. But that's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Favor.
Thank you, President Harden. I'd like to invite Chair Charles Thompkins to the podium, please. Tonight, we're going to honor and congratulate Charles Thompkins as a recipient of the 2019 Jefferson Award, recognizing his many years of commitment and dedication to the Milo-Grogan community. Jacqueline Kennedy Onassis and Senator Robert Taft Jr. of Ohio created the National Jefferson Awards in 1972 to highlight the works of unsung heroes. The Jefferson Awards are presented by WBNS 10 TV and Lifeline of Ohio to recognize individuals who do extraordinary things in their community without expecting anything in return. Mr. Thompkins was born in Cambridge, Ohio, but has been a lifelong resident of the Milo-Grogan neighborhood in Columbus, Ohio. He is employed with the Ohio Lottery Commission and currently serves as the chair of the Milo-Grogan Area Commission. He has also served as president of the Columbus Recreation and Parks Milo-Grogan CRC for over 15 years. Mr. Thompkins is a true public servant at heart and has over 40 years of service as a volunteer, big brother, mentor, and advisor for various community centers around Columbus, whether it's Adopt a Family, Columbus Realtor Care Day, or an appreciation breakfast and lunch for Columbus's first responders. Mr. Thompkins continues to demonstrate strong leadership, advocacy, partnership, and community pride for the Milo-Grogan neighborhood. The members of the Milo-Grogan community nominated Mr. Thompkins for the Jefferson Award for his selflessness and countless hours of community service to improve their lives. This year, there were over 152 nominations for this Jefferson Award. 20 finalists were selected, and we're pleased to acknowledge that Mr. Thompkins was one of 5 awarded as recipient of the 2019 Jefferson Award. It is absolutely my honor to present this resolution to you today. Do you have any comments you'd like to say? I'm sorry.
President Harding, I think this is probably the lowest that I've talked in a long time. I would like to thank all of City Council. It's truly a blessing to stand here with you all. I hear a lot of people talk and say negative things about council. That's because they don't know you. I've been blessed to actually work with almost all of you. I've been in dirt with Manuel Ramey. I've been with Shayla, Councilman Harding, President Harding, taking pictures of little kids rolling around on the ground, Elizabeth. Mr. Brown, we worked together for years. He just act like he don't remember. But, yeah, but I truly appreciate you. And before I go any further, the biggest blessing in my life was when God gave me my wife. Because without her, I couldn't have done this. All of those years, over 41 years of doing this, and we've been together for over 20-something years. She was at home with her children, allowing me to do these things. Now she's out with me doing them. Actually, you call her more than you call me now, and I love it. I thank all of my community, and I thank all of Central Ohio for saying thanks to me. Because it's not easy every day, because you do get a lot of negative from people asking you, why do you do the things you do? What rewards do you have in it? To me, the reward is if you are given a blessing and you can pass that blessing along, that's the biggest reward that you could ever have. So I thank you for having me here tonight, Shayla. I thank you all. I just thank you all for everything.
Are there any comments from my colleagues? Yes, sir.
Charles, so it's such a pleasure to have you down here. I mean, you really truly walk the walk, you know, but you're right. I mean, it takes a family, and you have instilled, I had the honor of presenting an award to your son, Charles Jr., a week ago or so in Clintonville at the awards breakfast for students. You know, Melissa, I mean, you haven't missed a beat. You've just engaged more of your family to do great things for the city. And so Milo-Grogan is a better place. This whole entire city is a better place for all that you do for our community. And so we thank you. I'm so pleased that you were awarded the Jefferson Award, because there's no one that's more deserving than you and what you do in the community. So thank you so much, and keep it up. We look forward to working with you in the future.
Thank you.
And I think we had a clip playing from the, if you want to check it out, it's a really awesome clip. Just gives another synopsis of Mr. Thompkins' life. And so with that, I would move for adoption.
Brown, Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, Tyson, President Harden.
Thank you. And then last, I just want to make an announcement about our community hours this week, which will be at Scrambler Marie's, located at 567 East Livingston Avenue from 9 a.m. to 10:30. And that is all.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Remy.
Thank you very much, President Harden. I'd like to announce that our next community hours will be next Tuesday, May 21st at Tim Hortons at 1451 West Broad Street from 3 to 4:30. No pizza at ours, but we'll get some Timbits and serve them up there. So looking forward to having everybody out, and please feel free to stop by. That's all I have this evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember. Councilmember Tyson.
Thank you. I do not have a resolution, but I have two announcements. The first really announcement, or just want to just say thank you to the Columbus Rotary. Today they have their 16th annual Service Above Self event, and that is in partnership with Columbus City Schools. And it is when all the high schools are sharing their service projects that they have completed within the city of Columbus. And there's some really amazing projects that these young people have been involved in. And again, as a city, we certainly cannot meet all the needs of our residents. We just can't meet all the needs in terms of services to them, but we count on volunteers to assist us. And so these young people are doing some tremendous work within our community. I just want to say thank you to the Columbus Rotary, to Callaway Robertson, who was the president, to Jim Menasee, Keith Stempert, and Rick Studdard, but again, also to Columbus City Schools for having this great partnership. And it is really about paying it forward, and that's what the young people are doing. And last but not least, that we've been talking about this for the last few weeks, and this is our Genoa Week, and the violin is here. It is at the museum, and you can go and see the violin. It is valued at $35 million. It will be this next Sunday, you can also go on, it's free to go to the museum on Sunday to see it, but it will also be played by Joanna Frankel, who is a concert master at the Columbus Symphony on this Wednesday at 7:30. The Urban Strings will be playing, and at 8 p.m. the violin will be played. And again, it has not been in the United States in over 16 years, and it is a masterpiece for our great sister city of Genoa. And also during this week, the mayor of Genoa will be here, and a delegation from the consular of Genoa, from the Italian embassy will be here. So we'll be really entertaining a lot of people from Italy to learn about things that are going on in Columbus, and hopefully we will then be able to they'll learn about us, and then we'll also continue to learn more about them. And then this October, for those of you who remember that we had the 1,000 Faces of Genoa, when they took a lot of pictures of residents of Columbus, and we saw the 1,000 Faces of Genoa were placed in many facilities around our city, including the Cultural Arts Center, but the museum, the airport, Franklin Park Conservatory, and they also took 1,000 Faces of Columbus, and that exhibition will be in Genoa in October. So I'm excited about that partnership, and for those of you who don't have tickets yet, please go to the Symphony on Wednesday and come out and listen to this amazing instrument. Thank you. And I thank my colleagues for the support.
Yes, we're really excited. This is a huge deal. And I heard PBS is coming to town. PBS is coming to take. Thank you, Councilmember Tyson. I have two resolutions for, this evening. The first, I'd like to invite Dr. June Gutterman and Ms. Arlene and family to come forward. I have resolution 0166X-2019. Is to honor, recognize, and congratulate Dr. June Gutterman on her retirement as CEO of Jewish Family Services. Dr. Gutterman has served as CEO of the Jewish Family Services since 2009 and worked tirelessly in support of Central Ohio's vulnerable populations. She has been involved in the Columbus community, and it continues with service on the Board of Trustees of the Columbus Jewish Day School, the Board of Trustees of the New American Commission of Franklin County, and as a member of the United Way of Central Ohio's Resource Development Committee and Pride United. Upon retirement, Dr. Gutterman will remain active in the community as a lay leader, and she plans to stay in Columbus with her wife, Miss Arlene. I was telling her that we're going to have so much for her to do in this next stage of life. I just want to say how much I appreciate her leadership, her mentorship throughout our community. For the last 2 years, Council has held Seders in council chambers, and both times Dr. Gutterman led the Seder. Just for your service to this city and your care for folks, regardless of where they come from or what their station in life and where their background, you become their fighter, and you fight and you win for them. And I have been just so grateful to call you a mentor. Are there any comments from my colleagues? Councilmember.
Thank you, President Harden. Dr. Gutterman, June, thank you so much for what you've done for our community. You and I have had the opportunity to work together on workforce development, and she has created some out-of-the-box projects and her innovative ideas and helping to assist our community in terms of workforce development, I have greatly appreciated. Every single goal that she said she was going to meet, she met and exceeded it. And the return on the investment of our dollars was just tremendous to be able to help people to gain employment and to move forward in their lives. So on behalf of all the individuals that you have assisted in terms of not only your overall work within Jewish Family Services, but more importantly for all the individuals that you have certainly helped in terms of workforce development, for them to be able to take care of their families and move forward in their lives and be a role model for their families. I say thank you, thank you, thank you, and may you truly be blessed in your retirement.
Thank you.
If there are no further comments, I'm going to turn it over to you, Dr. Gutterman.
President Harden, President Pro Tem Brown, my dear friend, Councilman Tyson, let me start by saying thank you, and let me introduce the greatest joys and pleasures of my life. My wife, Arlene Richmond, my son, Josh Trainin, and my daughter, Penina Trainin. Some of you have heard me wax on for a long time about them. I will never be able to thank you for the partnership that Jewish Family Services has had with the city, and the work that we have all done collectively to assure that our fellow citizens can achieve economic self-sufficiency. In the years before I came to JFS, when I was leading a state agency, we helped Ohioans with disabilities attain economic self-sufficiency. In the last 10 years, we have worked very closely together to help individuals who have been taken out of our labor market, who have been sidelined as a result of age, or the fact that they were refugees, or the fact that they just simply had not been able to gain a foothold. Because of your commitment to that and our partnership, we really have made sure that people can attain economic self-sufficiency. It's been my joy to be part of this Columbus community for 40 years. I came here 40 years ago during my doctoral work to do an internship for 12 weeks. It's been the longest 12 weeks of my life. Not only did I find a career, but I found a home, and I built a family, an incredible, incredible family. And for that, Columbus is always my heart. Thank you.
If there are no more questions or comments, I move for passage. Please call the row.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, Tyson, President Harden.
Pass. And lastly, I'd like to call up Tori Guybe. Tori is the honorary chair of the 2019 Columbus Coleman Race for the Cure. I have Resolution 0169X-2019 is to recognize the Coleman Columbus Race for the Cure for celebrating 27 years of racing for cures. In the community, exceptional fundraising and groundbreaking breast cancer research. Established in 1993, the Coleman Columbus Race for the Cure has grown from 875 participants to more than 20,000 walkers, runners, making it the largest Coleman Race for the Cure in the country. The Coleman Columbus Race for the Cure will take place on Saturday, May 18th in the heart of the city. The money raised will be used to support local breast health programs in Coleman Columbus 30 county service area, including education, breast health screening, and treatment. Funds will also be used to support global research to find cures for breast cancer. Be it resolved by the Council of the City of Columbus that this council recognizes the runners, walkers, and supporters of Coleman Columbus Race for the Cure, celebrating 27 years. Would any of my colleagues like to make any comments? Seeing that, I'm going to turn the podium over to Chair Tori Guybe. Thank you for your service and for your fight.
Yeah, thank you so much, Council President Hardin and all the members of City Council for this resolution. My name is Tori Guybe. I am a metastatic breast cancer patient. I am also the honorary chair of the 2019 Coleman Columbus Race for the Cure. I've been living with metastatic breast cancer now for just over 3 years. Nationally, 1 in 8 women will hear the words that you have breast cancer. Our estimates show about 2,000 women in the Columbus service area will receive a breast cancer diagnosis this year. Out of those, 415 women will die of their breast cancer. Nationally, about 42,000 men and women will die of breast cancer this year alone. Even since we've been just in chambers, we can estimate that about 4 to 5 people nationally have died of breast cancer. You all know someone or someone that's been impacted by this terrible disease. We want to reduce breast cancer deaths by 50% by the year 2026. That's part of Coleman's bold goal. Coleman has invested $166 million in more than 400 research grants and 40 clinical trials focused on metastatic breast cancer. Metastatic breast cancer is cancer that spreads beyond the breast to other organs. It most commonly goes to the bones, the lungs, the liver, the brain, and once it becomes stage 4 or metastatic, like the type that I have, it is considered terminal. We hope that one day it can be cured or become even a chronic disease that we can live with years to come. Columbus is a global leader in the fight against breast cancer. This 27th annual Coleman Race for the Cure is the largest in the country, and we're expecting a little more than 20,000 participants downtown on May 18th. Registration will be happening tomorrow through Thursday at the Coleman offices in Westerville. You can also donate 24/7 at ColemanColumbus.org. Procrastination is not an option, though. We got to get on this. All of the race proceeds, and we hope to make about $2 million through this, will fund local community programs that help our Central Ohio neighbors get screening and treatment services. Along with that, we are helping to fund the global research mission, which, again, being able to make this disease for especially metastatic patients either curable or to be able to treat it as a chronic illness is definitely part of this bold goal. So thank you all, and thank you so much for this resolution.
Thank you so much for your advocacy. May I get a motion for adoption? Please call the roll.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy Tyson. President Hardin.
Adopted. Are there any comments by our elected officials? Again, I want to recognize Mr. Thompkins from Milo-Grogan. Congratulations again. And Ms. Holmes from Livingston Avenue. Thank you. Welcome to council. Are there any requests by members of council for removal of ordinance resolutions from consent action portion? Seeing none, may we now have a motion to waive reading of the titles of 30-day legislation by the city clerk? Please call the row.
Brown, Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy Tyson. President Harden.
Thank you. Will the clerk now read into the record the ordinance numbers of 30-day legislation on tonight's agenda for first reading?
Public Utilities Committee, Resolution 142X-2019, ordinances 1055, 1159, and 1232-2019. Public Service and Transportation Committee, Resolution 151X-2019. Criminal Justice and Judiciary Committee, Ordinance 1179-2019. Health and Human Services Committee, Ordinance 1188-2019. Rules and Reference Committee, Ordinances 1081 and 1171-2019. Zoning Committee, Ordinances 1204, 1288, and 1289-2019.
Seeing no speakers on the first reading, the following ordinance appear on our agenda as consent action. Will the clerk now read those ordinance numbers into the record?
Resolution of Expression 161X-2019, ordinances under Finance Committee, Ordinances 1161 and 1191-2019. Public Safety Committee, Ordinances 998, 1153, 1164-2019. Public Utilities Committee, Ordinances 1069, 1118, 1125, 1130, 1134, 1136, 1242, and 1245-2019. Technology Committee, Ordinance 1084-2019. Neighborhoods Committee, Ordinance 1346-2019. Public Service and Transportation Committee, Ordinance 1227-2019. Housing Committee, Ordinance 1138, 1180, 1181, 1217, 1218, 1219, 1225, 1226, 1266, 1271-2019. Criminal Justice and Judiciary Committee, Ordinance 1068, 1165, 1195, 1234, and 1237-2019. Economic Development Committee, Ordinances 1139, 1210, 1257-2019. Health and Human Services Committee, Ordinance 1167-2019. And appointments from the Mayor's Office numbered A0074, 75, and 76-2019.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We have one speaker on the consent agenda, Ms. Pam Unger, speaking on Ordinance 1130. Ms. Unger, welcome back to Council.
I don't know that I've ever spoken to you about consent action before, and I confess that even after all this time, I don't know exactly what a consent action is. I know that last week, I get here late, so often agendas are not available, and I had lost the link that Zach Davidson kindly sent me about how to check agendas in advance. So I'm not sure I would have read the fine print under public utilities in any case, since that's not where I would have expected to find a reference to toxic chemicals. But I assume that, quote, invasive plant management is in fact a euphemism for toxic chemicals used for weed control. $90,000 for the first phase of a contract that will last for 3 years means, I assume, that we're looking at a potential $270,000. And I have a lot of questions, which I would have liked to have asked last week, so I might have gotten some answers by this week. First of all, exactly what chemicals are being identified in this treatment program? What is their half-life? What are their known side effects? 3 years, is that in fact meaning that $90,000 will be extended for the next 2 years as well? Has anything been done to ascertain the cause of the invasive plants that need managed? I'm guessing that since this has to do with water, that we're talking about algae blooms, which, as we know, are definitely fed, if not caused, by runoff of chemicals. So that leads to the question of how much of this money is being invested in prevention of the proliferation of whatever these plants are that need managed. I'd like to know what other methods besides toxic chemicals have been explored to manage them. These are all just questions that I came up with since I came here today. And I know, I mean, my head spins when I think of how many resolutions you handle every week. I assume that you haven't had the time to ask or to explore some of these questions, but please know that this is all about not just protecting us from invasive plants, but protecting the planet. And so I hope that you do your due diligence in trying to explore these issues before you automatically pass such a consent action. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Unger. Did I see an email this afternoon on this ordinance from you? I just want to make sure there's an appropriate contact person to get some of their questions answered. Okay. Okay, well, I just want to make sure that we have a point person to follow up with you directly on because there were several questions that were outlined, and I don't know, council member or director, if you want to speak this evening, or we can follow up if we feel comfortable moving forward.
President Harden, Chair Dorans, members of council, the largest bulk of this contract is actually for the physical removal of invasive species. We do that by hand and digging out. There is a provision for targeted pesticide use, which cannot be broadcast sprayed, and they have to work with our watershed team to specifically identify the chemicals that are used and come up with an plan to use those chemicals. The other large part of this contract is actually the reintroduction of native species. This is an annual contract that we have had, and we bid out every 3 years. We get a lot of complaints from our neighbors on the reservoir about these invasive species taking over their properties, and so we do have to remove them. But I will connect Ms. Unger with our watershed team so she can specifically know which chemicals and where they use those chemicals.
Thank you.
Tracy Davies, I'm the Public Utilities Director.
Thank you, Director, and thank you, Ms. Unger. Are there any more questions or comments on the consent portion of the agenda? Seeing none, may I have a motion for approval of these items designated as consent? Please call the roll.
Ms. Brown? Mr. Brown? Yes. Dorans? Yes. Favor? Remy? Yes. Tyson?
Yes, with the exception of 1138-2019 and 1165-2019, on which I am abstaining.
President Harden?
Yes, consent portion carries. We will now proceed with the first reading, or with the reading of 30-day and tabled legislation. The first committee to come before council is the Finance Committee. Councilmember Brown chairs that committee. Councilmember, the floor is yours.
Thank you, President Harden. Tonight in Finance, we have Ordinance 1248-2019 to authorize the issuance of limited tax notes in an amount not to exceed $2,500,000 to refund outstanding bond anticipation notes issued for the purpose of financing the costs of transportation projects. This falls under Section 44(1)B of the City Charter. The projects referenced in the title are the city-owned parking garages at 4th and Elm Street and Front and Rich Street. The original note was issued in 2009 in the amount of $29,500,000 and since then has been paid down annually. Proceeds from the 2019 note sale will be used to pay a portion of the 2018 notes that will mature on June 28, 2019. Seeing no questions from colleagues, I move to waive second reading.
Second. Please call the roll.
Brown, Dorans, Favor, Remy, Tyson, President Harden.
Waive.
And I move for passage.
Second. Please call the roll.
Brown, Dorans, Favor, Remy, Tyson, President Harden.
Passed.
Next, I have Ordinance 1326-2019 to adopt a capital improvements budget for the 12 months ending December 31st, 2019, or until such a time as a new capital improvements budget is adopted, establishing a project budget for capital improvements requiring legislative authorization in 2019, to authorize the city auditor to appropriate funds within the Streets and Highways GO Bond Fund, the Northland and Other Acquisitions GO Bonds Fund, and the Development Taxable Bonds Fund, to authorize the city auditor to transfer funds between projects within the Safety GO Bonds Fund, the Streets and Highways GO Bonds Fund, the Construction Management Capital Improvements Fund, the Northland and Other Acquisitions GO Bonds Fund, the Development Taxable Bonds Fund, and Streets and Highways Non-Bond Fund, to repeal ordinance number 1010-2018 as amended and to declare an emergency. This ordinance establishes the 2019 capital improvement budget in the amount of $940.2 million. I will be moving to table the ordinance tonight in order to hold a series of 4 Finance Committee public hearings to present and review this budget. My goal as Finance Chair is to make the city's investments open and accessible to our residents. So each hearing will be neighborhood-based and will focus on projects and priorities unique to the area where the hearings are being held. No one knows more about their neighborhood than the people who live there, and public feedback will continue to be a priority of this council. The hearing schedule starts this week with the first hearing tomorrow on Tuesday, May 14th from 5 to 6:30 at Barnett Community Rec Center. Then Thursday, May 16th, 5 o'clock to 6:30 at Feddersen. Tuesday, May 28th, 5 to 6:30 at Westgate. Thursday, May 30th, 5 to 6:30 at Barrick. Any questions from colleagues? Seeing none, I move to table Ordinance 1326-2019 indefinitely pending these hearings and further review of the capital budget.
Mr. Second, please call the roll.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy Tyson, President Harden.
Table.
That's all I have in finance. May I move to Recreation and Parks?
Please.
Mr. President. In Recreation and Parks, I have Ordinance 0754-2019 to authorize the Director of Recreation and Parks to enter into contract with Elford Incorporated for the construction of a new clubhouse at Champions Golf Course, to authorize the transfer of $1,654,195.01 between the special income tax and the Recreation and Parks bond funds, to amend the 2019 capital improvement budget ordinance 1010-2018 to authorize the expenditure of $5,698,410 from the Recreation and Parks Bond Fund and to declare an emergency. This new facility will replace an outdated concession stand that originally served as the course's starter hut, but was not large enough to support outings or community events. The new facility will include a 300-person event room, a 1,000-square-foot commercial-grade kitchen, pro shop, dining area, and outdoor patio space. The improvements will increase our Recreation and Parks Department's ability to serve the residents of Columbus, as well as increase the fiscal sustainability of the department itself. Conservative estimates project that the new facility will increase revenue for the course by more than $400,000 through the increased usage and the hosting of special events, as well as increased youth programming at the site. And those special events are purposely priced so that they are accessible to the community, but that they also continue to generate revenue for the department. 4 bids were received through the competitive bidding process, and Elford was selected as lowest and most responsive. This legislation is receiving emergency consideration so that work can begin in mid-April with a scheduled completion date in March of 2020, which is prior to the 2020 Champions for Play event. Director Collins, a key consideration for the department in recommending this ordinance is how it would help support the sustainability of your operations and the services you provide to residents. Is there anything else you would want to add on that point that I left out?
Thank you, Council President Pro Tem, members of Council. Now, I think you said it perfectly in terms of sustainability. We're constantly looking on how to drive revenue growth into our golf course operations, and this is a key piece between leagues, traditional green fees, as well as event operations and rentals. This is going to provide a great community space at an affordable rate for folks to everything from birthday parties to family reunions and events that will be able to utilize the space, and also help us expand our youth access to golf program.
Thank you, Director. Are there questions from colleagues? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Second. Please call the roll.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy Tyson, President Harden.
Passed.
And my last ordinance for the evening is Ordinance 0977-2019 to authorize the Director of Recreation and Parks to enter into contract with Greenscapes Landscape Company for the installation of 282 street trees in the UIRF districts of Lava C and Southside neighborhoods, to amend the 2018 capital improvements budget to authorize the expenditure of $89,318 from the Recreation and Parks Voted Bond Fund, and to declare an emergency. As a part of the Urban Infrastructure Recovery Fund, the installation of these 282 street trees was requested by community leaders on the South Side and Livingston Avenue area commissions. I'm happy to highlight the city's ongoing partnership with community leaders to improve the tree canopies in our neighborhood, which are all of our neighborhoods, which are a critical component of the city's green infrastructure. Trees improve air quality, they reduce the urban heat island and help manage stormwater runoff. They help reduce utility bills by providing shade in the summer and wind block in the winter. Planting new trees makes our neighborhoods healthier, more beautiful, and more welcoming. But unfortunately, every neighborhood does not enjoy this same level of canopy. Through programs like this, we will continue planting trees and improving our canopy throughout the city, especially in the neighborhoods who need them and who work with us and help educate us on what exactly they need in their neighborhoods. Emergency action is being requested so that the trees can be ordered and planted before we lose ideal planting conditions. My husband does the garden in our household, and he tells me that the middle of the summer is not a great time to plant things, so we want to get it done before then. Any questions from colleagues about street trees? Seeing no questions, I move for passage.
Second. Please call the row.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, Tyson, President Harden.
Passed.
That's all I have in my committees.
Thank you, Chair. The next committee to come before council is the Public Safety Committee. That committee is chaired by Councilmember Brown. Councilmember, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Council President. Tonight I have Ordinance 1163, 2019, to authorize the appropriation and expenditure of funds within the Public Safety Initiative Subfund in the amount of $180,000 to authorize the Finance and Management Director to associate all general budget reservations resulting from this ordinance with the appropriate universal term contract purchase agreement with Enforcement Video LLC for the purchase of software, maintenance, and support for the Division of Police Body-Worn Camera Program, BWC, and to declare an emergency. This ordinance continues the city's investment in the successful Columbus Division of Police Body-Worn Camera Program. While the program is still in its infancy, body-worn cameras have already proven to be an effective tool for monitoring interactions between law enforcement officers and the public. It has helped enhance transparency and accountability, but it has also provided our community with an insight into the difficult decisions officers have to make. If there are no questions from my colleagues, I move for passage.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, Tyson, President Harden.
Passed.
That's all I have this evening, sir.
Thank you, Chair. The next committee to come before council is the Technology Committee, chaired by Councilmember Dorans. The floor is yours.
Thank you, President Harden. We have one piece of legislation this evening. That's ordinance number 1087-2019 to authorize the Director of the Department of Technology to enter into a contract with Sungeti USA to acquire a citywide data management platform, or DMP, which includes software support and professional services, training, and data governance related activities, in addition to a contingency fee for any unforeseen costs of the implementation of the city's DMP project, to waive the competitive bidding provisions of the Columbus City Code, and to authorize the expenditure of $2,288,000 from the Department of Technology Information Services Division, Information Services Bond Fund. A data management platform is a central hub designed to collect, organize, and manage data of different types from different origins, including offline, online, and mobile, and beyond. City departments collect, curate, and utilize data every single day to make informed decisions that impact the services that we provide to Columbus residents. Establishing the data management platform will provide the necessary technology to treat data as an asset, which will improve the decision-making process, improve operational efficiencies, and prepare the city for future data and technology disruption, and expand the city's ability to use public data for public good. To illustrate how a data management platform will greatly improve how we operate as a city, I want to share a current state and future state example regarding the opiate addiction crisis. The Columbus Public Health Department is tasked with monitoring outbreaks of opioid overdoses, which requires coordination and reporting with other local, state, and federal partner agencies. Today, our Department of Public Safety uses two different systems to track their responses to suspected overdoses, 911 and an internal case management system. Both systems track these overdoses, but do so in different forms, with varying data quality, which is not automatically or readily shared with the Department of Health, nor can Public Health use the data in its current form. On a weekly basis, Public Safety manually extracts suspected overdose information from these separate systems and provides multiple Excel spreadsheets to the Public Health for analysis. Public Health staff then spend several hours a week cleaning the data and consolidating these spreadsheets in order to render information that's suitable for their needs. As you might imagine, this manual process is both cumbersome and prone to human error. That's why in the future, with this data management platform, opioid data will be accessible from a single location and automatically cleansed for reporting and analysis. With higher quality data, Public Safety and Public Health will more quickly identify and respond to overdose outbreaks. This is just one example of how this data management platform is going to help impact the city for the better. This data management platform will both save time and lives and bring Columbus one step closer to our smart city aspirations. I want to give us a nod to leadership of the Department of Technology, Director Sam Worth, for overseeing the implementation of this important next step for our city's future, and would like to turn it over to the Director for further comments.
Good evening, Council President Hardin, President Pro Tem Brown, Chair Dorans, members of Council. Councilmember Dorans did a great job of really setting the case for why this initiative is so important to the City of Columbus. I just want to start by saying that the award is the result of a competitive selection, and the reason that it's being characterized as sole source is because we took a little longer to review it than we had planned. As you know, Columbus is America's opportunity city. Each of our city departments and the mayor's initiatives rely on data to make well-informed decisions that impact all Columbus residents. Data is a key asset for the City of Columbus, just like other assets. City departments collect, curate, and utilize data every day to make informed decisions that impact the services provided to Columbus residents. Like any other city asset, data must be maintained, protected, and used effectively. Currently, the city has hundreds of thousands of data sets and individual spreadsheets, Word documents, and systems. In a data management platform, or DMP, we can identify the data we have, where we get it from, what to do with it, when we have it, and where and how to archive and dispose of it. Implementing the data management platform will improve the city's ability to manage and analyze data and will ultimately improve services provided to Columbus residents. Key benefits from the platform will include greater data quality, which will lead to better decision-making, improving the understanding of data lineage, which will improve regulatory compliance, improving accuracy and timeliness of data, which will improve transparency, reducing the cost and complexity of data analysis, which will improve operational efficiencies, reducing the cost and complexity of integrating existing data, as Councilmember Dorans described in the example between health and public safety, which will improve operational efficiencies and leverage past investment in current city technology platforms. We're very excited about the opportunity that this platform will bring to city departments in the city, and we thank you for considering the ordinance. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Do my colleagues have any questions or comments? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Please call the roll.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, Tyson, President Hardin.
Passed.
Thank you, President Hardin. That's all I have this evening.
Thank you, Chair. Next committee to come before Council is the Public Service and Transportation Committee. That committee is chaired by Councilmember Favorite. Councilmember, the floor is yours.
Thank you, President Hardin. Tonight in Public Service and Transportation, we have ordinance number 1221-2019 to amend the 2018 capital improvement budget to transfer appropriation between divisions within the bridge rehabilitation category of the Streets and Highways Bond Fund, to authorize the Director of Public Service to enter into contract with Double Z Construction Company for the Bridge Rehabilitation Annual Citywide Contract 2018 project, to authorize the expenditure of up to $1,597,529 from the Streets and Highways Bond Fund for the project and to declare an emergency. This ordinance authorizes the Director of Public Service to enter into a contract with Double Z to begin routine rehabilitation of 31 bridges in Columbus. As part of this ordinance, bridges across the city will see concrete patching, waterproofing, placement of scour countermeasures, channel cleanout, deck overlay, asphalt repairs, brush removal, lightning repairs, and beam painting. Are there any comments or questions from my colleagues? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Please call the row.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy Tyson, President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you. That's all I have in my committee.
Thank you, Chair. The next committee to come for council is the Economic Development Committee. That committee is chaired by Councilmember Remy. Councilmember, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Council President Harden. Tonight in Economic Development Committee, we have ordinance number 1187, 2019, to authorize the Director of the Department of Development to enter into a dual-rate jobs growth incentive agreement with Upstart Network, Inc. for a term of up to 5 consecutive years in consideration of the company's proposed capital investment of $1,400,000 and creation of 100 net new full-time permanent positions with an estimated annual payroll of approximately $10,750,000. The Columbus Department of Development is proposing to enter into a dual-rate job growth incentive agreement with Upstart Network, Inc. in an amount equal to 25% of the City of Columbus income tax withheld on the Columbus payroll of new employees and 30% of the City of Columbus income tax withheld on the Columbus payroll of new employees who are also City of Columbus residents at the end of each calendar year for up to a term of 5 consecutive years. Upstart Network, Inc. is the first online lending platform to leverage artificial intelligence and machine learning to price credit and automate the borrowing process for personal loans using non-traditional variables such as education and employment to predict creditworthiness. First launched in April 2012, Upstart has demonstrated strong credit performance and maintains one of the industry's highest consumer ratings, according to leading consumer review sites. Upstart Network, Inc. will create 100 new full-time permanent positions, all above living wage, including 50 full-time positions starting at $72.16 an hour, 5 full-time positions starting at $31.25 an hour, 45 full-time positions starting at $25 an hour, with a cumulative estimated annual payroll of approximately $10,750,000 to support its growth. I do have one speaker on this particular ordinance this evening. That speaker is Joe Motiel. Mr. Motiel, welcome back to council. You have 3 minutes. Please state your name and your address.
Good evening, President Harden, Pro Tem Brown, members of the City Council. Joe Motiel, reside at 167 West Cook Road, Columbus. Your policies of giving away property tax revenue or city income tax revenue to wealthy corporations and luxury real estate developers is having an obvious negative impact on our neighborhoods, the educational needs of our children, and the overall quality of life of Columbus's working families. And you can throw all the beneficiaries of this corporate welfare up here that you want, and they can talk your game, but the public's not buying it. For instance, Root Insurance, with a valuation of over $1 billion, decided last week to expand here in Columbus because you gave them a roughly $50,000 a month income tax reduction. It's corporate greed, that's all it is. Tonight's handout at the expense of our neighborhoods goes yet to another fine company that has been and appears to be going places. Upstart Network is a Silicon Valley startup that provides online loans, and in just 3 years, they've generated $3.1 billion in loans. And like Root Insurance, Upstart will also be leasing office space in a building that, of course, has received a tax abatement. Lord knows City Council and the mayor must protect the investments of their tax abatement recipient, campaign contributing developer colleagues in the Short North area. But what I really find interesting about this particular city income tax giveaway of $2 million is the honesty of CEO David Gerard. According to Mr. Gerard, locating in Columbus was, quote, an obvious choice due in part to the availability of talent. In many locations, finding high-performing talent is difficult, but Columbus has a large pool of skilled workers, readily available leadership, and Columbus's robust financial services were also a draw. Moreover, the region has a great quality of life and a strong culture created by the Ohio State University. Proximity to the university will also give the company access to a pipeline of talent. The cost to operate in Ohio is significantly less than on the West Coast for technology companies. Engineering costs are 40% less in Ohio. The cost of living is 50% less, and operating costs are 69% less. Not once did the CEO mention the need for or receiving an income tax giveaway or tax abatement as his reason for locating here in Columbus, Ohio. And as stated in a recent report from Policy Matters Ohio, business decisions on location are made regardless of tax incentives. So why do you continue to give away much-needed revenue to companies and developers that do not need them and are going to locate and build here anyway? And although you may say that we don't offer cash up front, it is being distributed at times up front in the form of campaign contributions in exchange for city income tax and property tax revenue. And your so-called business discounts to corporate Columbus and luxury real estate developers are having counterproductive results on affordable housing, tools for properly educating our children, economic segregation, and our deteriorating neighborhoods. So maybe what we really need are people that can promote and deliver Columbus without throwing out the words tax abatement, tax incentive, and campaign contributions. In 7 days, you have given away $5.6 million in income tax revenue for really no reason. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Motel. Director Shoney, do you have any additional comments or background on this legislation?
Thank you, Chair Remy, President Harden, members of council. Just to be clear, I think Mr. Motil said it was quoted a number of like $2 million of value on this program. I'm not sure where that came from. Our estimate over the 5 years is that the company, and again, I forgot my glasses today, so you'll have to excuse my sitting back. So far, I think it's about a $400,000 benefit to the company, so I'm not sure where his figure came from. To the city, it is a benefit of about $1 million over the 5 years. And it is a substantial increase in our income taxes for just a portion of this building that is, we believe, being very successful in helping to attract exactly the kinds of businesses that any other community around the country and certainly around Central Ohio will compete for. We believe that this program is necessary. We're very excited about this opportunity. Upstart is a growing company that is helping to shape what is going to be the future of our economy. So the more successes we have in attracting companies like Root Insurance, like Upstart Networks, where we are looking at what is the future of what our core industries are going to be, it's very critical to our future success. So thank you for the opportunity to speak.
Thank you very much, Director Shoney. Are there any questions or comments from my colleagues? Seeing none, I move for passage.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, Tyson, President Harden.
And that's all I had this evening.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The final committee to come before council is the Health and Human Services Committee. That committee is chaired by Councilmember Tyson. Councilmember, the floor is yours.
Thank you, President Harden. I have one ordinance, it's 1200-2019, to authorize and direct the Board of Health to accept additional funding from the Franklin County Alcohol, Drug, Addiction, and Mental Health Services Board in the amount of $70,000 to authorize the appropriation of $70,000 to the Health Department and the Health Department's Grants Fund and to declare an emergency. These additional dollars will fund the women's recovery. In addition, earlier this month, I think I passed a resolution to support many other programs dealing with mental health and addiction. And so this additional $70,000 will bring the total amount funded to support these initiatives is $2,204,556.46. Thank you. If there are no questions or comments, I move for passage.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, Tyson, President Harden.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Seeing no further business coming before council, may I get a motion for adjourn? Second, please. Please call the roll.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, Tyson, President Harden.
Council is adjourned. Regular meeting number 26 will now come to order. Clerk, please call the roll.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, Tyson, President Harden.
Can I get a motion to dispense with the reading of the journal?
Second.
Please call the roll.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy, Tyson, President Harden.
We'll now go to the Zoning Committee. Councilmember Tyson chairs that committee. Councilmember, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Before beginning the zoning agenda, I'll briefly explain the rules of council as pertaining to speaking before council on zonings and variances. We permit 3 speakers on each side, 3 proponents and 3 opponents, and we ask that they limit their remarks to 3 minutes on each side. And we provide an opportunity for rebuttal from the applicant. On the advice of the City Attorney's Office, we ask that anyone here this evening who wishes to speak either for or against a council variance, including staff, please stand, raise your right hand, and be sworn in. I wish to tell the truth and nothing but the truth. Please answer, I will. Thank you. The first ordinance is 1202-2019 to grant a variance from the provisions of sections 3363.01 in manufacturing districts of the Columbus City Codes for the property located at 477 South Front Street to permit ground floor residential uses in the M manufacturing district. The applicant is 477 Columbus LLC, care of Dwight McCabe. The proposed use is residential uses. The City Department's recommendation is approval, and the Brewery District Commission's recommendation is approval, 4-0-1. If there are no questions or comments from my colleagues, I first move to amend as submitted to the clerk.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy Tyson, President Harden.
Thank you, and now I move for passage as amended.
Please call the row.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy Tyson, President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you. The final ordinance is 1203-2019 to grant a variance from provisions of sections 3356.03 C4 permitted uses and 3311.28B requirements of the Columbus City Codes for the property located at 3720 West Broad Street to permit mattress manufacturing and a retail showroom in the LC4 Limited Commercial District with reduced distance separation from residentially zoned property. The applicant is SC Real Estate Group LLC, care of Dwight McCabe. The proposed use is a mattress manufacturing and retail showroom. The City Department's recommendation is approval. The Greater Hilltop Area Commission recommendation is 14-0. If there are no questions or comments, I move for passage.
Please call the row.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy Tyson, President Harden.
Passed.
Thank you, and that concludes the zoning agenda this evening.
Thank you, Chair Tyson. Seeing no further business coming before the zoning committee, may I get a motion for adjournment? Please call the row.
Brown, Dorans, favor, Remy Tyson, President Harden.
Meeting is in. Thank you for that assist. I don't know why I'm saying. I can move.